Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
My cheating is livid that I changed the locks on our house after her infidelity. Let me start with some background. My wife and I are both 54, married 31 years. She is an RN at a hospital. I work for a home builder since I was 18. We have 2 children, both grown out of the house in their 20s. We decided in our mid-40s to pursue my wife's dream of running a bed and breakfast. We have been looking on and off for years. We came across a piece of property of 5 acres and a home built in the 1870s. The original owners were large landowners in this area. They had an extensive agricultural business empire. Over the decades, fewer of the family wanted to stay in farming. Parcels of land were sold off. Our town is going through growing spurts as it has become quite touristy because of some, let's say, natural formations and beauty. The farmland along the main highways is being gobbled up. The house and land we purchased are away from the highways. Since we bought it, my wife and I are redoing the entire house. There has been neglect in some basic maintenance, and we want to restore the house to its prominence 150 years ago, along with making a living. My wife has been in charge of decorating rooms as I finish along with paying the mortgage. I am renovating room by room, paying for all material and any professional help if needed. I am pretty handy, so most work is done by me. The last few years, the housing industry has gone through the roof. We would work 8 days a week if we could. I was pulling in big money until last year. The pandemic knocked us out of work for a while in 2020, then the material shortages started. Of course, my wife was on the front lines for the last 18 months. Last year, she worked weeks at the hospital without days off. The medical staff stayed at the hospital. They had rooms several slept in together. To say the least, the staff got very close. They'd worked 4 weeks on 2 weeks off, starting in March last year into the fall, then again after Thanksgiving. My wife has always, after the kids were older, worked for others if they asked. She watched these young parents crying because they could not see their families. So on their off times, she would give up her time off and offer it to the staff that really needed it. There were others that did this too. The whole COVID experience changed her. Watching people put on ventilators, the deaths, etc. She was not the same person. She was distant. Our ex life went to zero. I attributed it to either her experiences or her age. I tried talking about it, but was told she just didn't feel it anymore. We still work closely on the house. We planned trips to an area in our state that had a large Amish population. The Amish here are known for their craftsmanship in woodworking and sewing. We bought several pieces of furniture for the bedrooms along with handmade quilts. This past weekend, we were planning on taking a 3-day trip to this area to buy dining room furniture. I also pay and trade with some wood that I get when I take down an old barn, which I do as a side gig. Barnwood is very much in demand. My boss calls me and tells me everyone is working the whole week as he was able to get wood and shingles for a house we have been sitting on waiting for supplies. I told the wife we could go on Saturday and Sunday. On Friday morning, she tells me she is still going with some workers because there is a fall festival going on too. I go to the local bar that night. One of her coworkers comes up to say hello. I asked if she was going on the trip. She knew nothing about it, so I texted the wife asking if she made it okay and asked who was all there with her. She texted back that this friend, her other close friend, and a friend called Stevie. I had heard this name the last few months. Until then, I always thought they was female. I asked her friend at the bar if she knew this Stevie. She said no, but there is a Steven that works with them. The wife gets back Sunday afternoon. She has bags of tablecloths, napkins, kitchen towels, etc. She is showing me what she bought. In one bag, there was a smaller bag. She pulled it out, looked in it, and said, "Oh, not this bag. It's not for us." I let it go. Later, I looked in the bag. She had hidden it in a closet. It was decorations for a man cave for a college team I don't follow in sports, so it wasn't for me. I asked to talk with her. I asked again who all went. She gave the same 3 people. I just asked who Stevie was because we had not met. She told me a woman they work with. I pulled out the man cave stuff and told her I talked to her friend who was supposed to be away last weekend, but her plans blew up. Then I asked who Steve was again. She started crying and told me who he was, and yes, they were by themselves. They had Zex. They have been since last year during their hospital lockdown. So now she is living in one of the finished bedrooms. I have our bedroom. I will talk to a lawyer on Monday. I have no idea what to do about the house, the business, the marriage. To me, she was sorry she was caught, but not for the affair. I asked her if she would break it off with Stevie. She was not sure. Update. It's been a hectic couple weeks. Along with my work and side gigs picking up, the wife and I were battling. I saw a lawyer. After I explained everything, he suggested we try to work it out before he gets involved. The house is still not a business and cannot be sold as such. We would have to sell it as a house, unfinished, which would lower the price. We have sunk well over $100,000 into the house plus the mortgage. The lawyer will have to consult with a real estate attorney and maybe one dealing with businesses, so their fees are going to be high. So, I try to approach the wife to see if we could talk. I don't know if she is embarrassed being caught, but she has dug in her heels. She told me to leave the house. I told her I have no plans to do that. Then she countered with my giving up the master suite and me moving to one of the bedrooms. I again tell her I don't plan on it either. She then says she is off the next couple days and will move all my stuff out and put it in the foyer for me to decide where I am going to stay. So I end the conversation. I went out where my supplies are stored and grabbed a new door lock with a push-button keypad. I was going to install in the bedroom doors once we had guests. We can change the combination after each guest. I installed it on the master suite door. The next day, I went to work. When I came home after a day of angry messages for putting the lock on, she was livid. "How dare you lock me out of my bedroom?" was her war cry. After back and forth, I asked if we could please talk. She finally agreed. Later that evening, we sat down. Told her I was very hurt to find out of the affair and that I wish she would have told me she was not happy. She did not say anything. So I continued with that. As far as I'm concerned, the marriage is over. She just nodded her head. Then told her I have been to an attorney. This caught her by surprise by her look. I explained what the attorney said, that it would be best if we could come to some agreement what to do. Our largest asset is the house, and to sell it we would take a huge loss. She just smiled and said I can prove that I have paid the mortgage, so the house is mine. I shook my head no. My attorney explained the house is a marital asset, both names on the mortgage. I then pulled out a couple binders. I have every receipt that I have spent filed by room on what has been spent. I started this just out of curiosity and just kept going as we finished rooms. I can prove I spent thousands of my money in refurbishing the house. She was caught off guard by the receipts. She has not been to an attorney. I propose that we live peacefully together. Finish the house. We can then set the B&B up. She could buy me out of the business at that time. She dug her heels in again. No, I need to leave. If not, she has plans to move Stevie in. This hurt like a bit. I got up and got a glass of water to collect my thoughts. When I came back to the table, I told her if I see him in the house or on the property, I would start disassembling everything that has been done. Every nail and every screw I put in, I would take out. Every light and plumbing fixture would be taken down. I said I would not destroy them because I own them. I would replace them with any old piece of salvage material I could find. I said think about it, consult with whoever is giving you dime store advice. Let me know. Yesterday she came to me. We had not talked in several days. She asked if we could talk again. She had talked with our kids. I had called each and told them what's going on. Our daughter suggested to her that we stay in the house to completion. Start the business as I suggested. Then maybe I could move out but still own 50%. Mom could run the business, bringing in an employee or two to help run.